This video is going to show you how to solve radical equations algebraically. This is going to be an example of a type 1 problem. A type 1 problem has one radical. So here's where our type 1 problem is. So the first step when solving a type 1 problem is we need to get the radical by itself. When I'm talking about the radical, I actually mean this pink box. We need to get that whole quantity by itself. So in order to do that, the first thing we need to do is undo addition or subtraction. Then we'll undo multiplication or division. So our first step in this equation is going to be to undo the -2 in order to get the radical by itself. I'm going to do that by doing the opposite. The opposite of -2 is +2. I'm going to add 2 to both sides of the equal sign. When I do that, I still have 3 radical x plus 3. These 2's cancel out, and it equals 24. I still don't have my radical by itself. There's a 3 in front of it. The 3 in front of it means 3 times the square root of x plus 3. In order to undo multiplication, I need to do the opposite, which is divide. I'm going to divide both sides of the equation by 3. When I do that, these 3's are going to cancel out, and I'll be left with the square root of x plus 3 on the left side. On the right side, I'm going to put 24 divided by 3 in my calculator, and I'll get 8. So I've now gotten the radical by itself. Now I'm going to eliminate the radical. I'll do this by raising each side of the equation by an exponent. If it's a square root, I'm going to take both sides to the second power. If it's a cube root, I'm going to cube both sides. Well, this is a square root, so I'm going to square both sides of the equation. When I do this, there's nothing to put in the calculator on the left side. All it does is make the square root go away. So because squaring and square roots are opposite, it just undoes the square root, and I'm left with x plus 3. On the right side, I have 8 squared. I can really put that in my calculator, and I get 64. Finally, I'm going to solve the resulting equation. So I have x plus 3 equals 64. I'm just going to subtract 3 from both sides of the equation. I still have my x. Those 3's canceled out, and it equals 61. So I found my solution. I've got one final step to do. That's step 4. We need to check our solution to see if it's extraneous. So in order to do this, I'm going to write the original equation from the top, but I'm going to put 61 in for x. So I've got 3 times the square root, and instead of x plus 3, I'm going to do 61 plus 3. And then there's a -2 equals 22. When you put this in the calculator, you actually need to put what's in the radical, so the 61 plus 3, in parentheses. That lets the calculator know that only that is inside the radical. When you plug this whole left side in, you actually get 22. So 22 equals 22. That is true. So that means that x equals 61 is a solution.